Winter was coming early that year. No, really, you could feel it, deep in your bones, the way the morning wind curled down off the ridges, slipping past your coat and up your neck, whispering all kinds of trouble straight from the heart of the mountains. Out here, on the ragged edge of our HOA-governed little neighborhood in Wyoming, cold isn't just weather. It's a threat, a test, a promise carved right into the land. And believe me, I learned a long time ago, nature's promises are the only ones you really can't talk your way out of. So I started preparing before most folks even found their gloves. By September, every evening after work, I'd be out in my backyard, splitting logs till my shoulders burned, stacking cords of pine and fir behind the shed. Weekends, I cleared out every scrap of deadfall, raked the property line, kept the place so clean you could eat off the wood chips. The whole yard stank of sap and sweat and sawdust for weeks. By November, I had 3 cords, tight, dry, and lined up like soldiers, more than enough to last a Wyoming winter. I never rely on electricity alone. Not after what happened a decade back, that blackout nobody in this valley will ever forget. The one where my daughter was a baby and I spent 4 nights huddled under a pile of blankets, listening to her breath crackle in the cold because the generator froze. And the old HOA band with stoves as unsightly. My girl's grown now, off at college, but I still wake up thinking about it. Anyway, I was feeling good. I'd fought the city and the HOA for a permit, won it fair and square, got my little wood stove certified and legal. Just waiting on the first flakes. The night before it all went sideways, I slept better than I had in months. Next morning, mug in hand, Scout, my shepherd mix, trotting at my heels, I went out to check the stacks. Only, they were gone. Gone. Not a splinter left, not even a patch of bark, just gravel scrubbed. Cleaner than I'd ever seen it. For a second, I thought maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe I'd stacked them somewhere else, but no. I knew exactly what had happened the moment I spotted the tire tracks, curving in from the back alley, boot prints in the dust, little heels and cheap perfume still hanging in the air like a bad joke. I didn't even have to say her name. Everyone called her Karen. Real name, Janice Lambert. But even behind closed doors she'd earned the moniker. Vice President of the HOA, self-appointed image manager for the neighborhood, and the kind of woman who'd rather die than admit she'd lost an argument, especially to me. See, Janice, Karen, already tried to get me once. Cited me for combustible materials too close to the shed. I shut her down in a public meeting with a copy of the city code, and she'd avoided me ever since. Until now. Now, apparently, she'd decided the rules were less important than making a point. I was mad enough to call the sheriff, but out here, HOA boards and law enforcement drink from the same coffee pot. Small town, favors everywhere. Without evidence, it was just my word against hers. Luckily, I'm not new at this. I've got cameras, motion sensors, the works. Poured out my coffee, pulled up the footage, and there she was, 3:17 a.m., Karen herself, bundled up like a cat burglar, 2 guys with her, dragging my wood onto a dolly and stuffing it into the HOA van. Clear as day. She even paused to brush something off her sleeve, gave the camera a look and a smirk. I saved that video 6 different ways, uploaded it to the cloud, and braced myself. Because make no mistake, this was war. Didn't take long for the knock at my door. 2 polite little taps, like she was still playing house. I let Scout bark a while, made sure the thumb drive was in my jacket, then opened up. Karen, wrapped in faux fur, clutching a clipboard like it was a sword, smiled that tight-lipped, neighborly smile, except it never quite reached her eyes. "Good morning, Mr. Boyd," she started, peering past me, checking for disorder. "Hope I didn't wake you." "Nope," I said, "but I'm fresh out of Firewood if that's what you came for." She blinked, just a flash, then back in control. "I'm here to deliver a citation. Combustible material stored within 30 feet of a structure. In violation of Article 7.4, and on and on." "You mean the wood that's missing now?" I asked. She hesitated, pen hovering. "That's unfortunate, but the violation still stands." "Protecting the community from what?" I asked. "My woodpile catching fire in a snowstorm. It's about appearances, too." "Standards," she said. "Yeah, standards that apply to everyone except the board, right?" I shot back. She tried to maintain her cool, but she was sweating, lips trembling around that citation. You broke into my property, I said. You stole from me. That's not a violation. That's a crime. She laughed, forced. No one broke in. The HOA reserves the right. I got no notice. I sent one. Did you send it by owl? She looked at her car, HOA decal on the side. 2 silhouettes inside, probably her goons from the video. I stepped out, close enough for her to lean back. You're not used to people pushing back, are you? I said, but you stole from the wrong guy. She handed me the citation. You can appeal by the end of the week. I folded it, tucked it into her clipboard. I'll be submitting something. Just not to you. She left in a huff. Scout barking her off the porch. I could feel the adrenaline in my fingertips. Knew deep down things were about to get worse. By afternoon, the wind was whipping leaves across the yard. Sky went gray as a tombstone. Weather radio started squawking. Arctic blast coming. 30-mile winds. Blizzard conditions. The whole neighborhood was on edge. I stared out the window at the empty space where my wood had been. Thought about how the HOA never once discussed disaster plans. When I'd raised it in a meeting, Karen had chirped about insurance. Insurance doesn't keep your pipes from bursting. I spent that night prepping. Thermal curtains, old firefighter sleeping bag, everything. By midnight, snow came. At first it was soft, but then it turned hard, sideways, relentless. I watched the HOA's fancy landscape lights wink out, one by one, until the street was black. At 3:47 a.m., power went. Darkness, silence, cold like a living thing. I lit an oil lamp. Scout curled up next to me, shivering. I sat, thumb drive in my hand, thinking, tomorrow, everything changes, if we make it. Next morning, the world was a wax museum. Snow everywhere, wind howling, trees sagging. My generator kept the fridge and cameras alive, but the house was freezing. Breakfast was instant oatmeal, staring across the street at Karen's place. A blue Colonial, perfectly groomed, now buried. No lights, no movement, no hum of a generator. Didn't feel a shred of pity. Later, bundled up, I started tracking the tire prints. Found them at the HOA maintenance shed behind. The tennis courts, my wood stacked under a sloppy tarp. My initials burned into every log. Took pictures, close, wide, every angle. Uploaded everything to a cloud folder shared with my lawyer buddy in Bozeman. Now I had proof. Trespass, theft, conspiracy. They'd picked the wrong hill to die on. Back home, I reviewed the footage, frame by frame, and saw one of Karen's helpers had a name badge. Dennis Aker, her cousin, a fact she'd omitted on personnel files. Now I had faces, names, a story. But the question ate at me. Why steal the wood at all? It wasn't about fire safety. It was about power, about humiliating me for standing up to her. And now, the storm she hadn't prepared for was barreling right for her. About 1 p.m., I got a text from Maria, a neighbor, pipes. Frozen, no heat. I told her to come over. 15 minutes later, she's on my porch, cheeks red, shivering. Made her tea, wrapped her up. That's when the second knock came. I opened it, and there's Karen. Lips blue, eyes scared. I need help, she whispers. For a second, I let her stand there, snow plastered to her fancy coat. Then I stepped aside. Pride doesn't mean much when you're freezing to death. She hesitated, then came in. Sat across from the stove, wrapped in a blanket, hands shaking. I didn't yell, just told her the truth. I knew she took the wood, had video, sent to the city. No use lying. She broke down. We thought the storm wouldn't be so bad. I needed to show the board I was serious about safety. It wasn't about safety, I said. You wanted control. She didn't argue. Maria sipped her tea, Scout kept watch, and for the first time, Karen looked like she understood. She apologized, right there. Said she'd make it right, call a meeting, tell everyone the truth, even resign if that's what it took. That night, the storm got worse. We burned everything that would catch. Chairs, broken shelves, anything. At one point, the temperature inside hit 43 degrees. I worried about the old couple at the end of the street, the family with the newborn. I asked Karen if she still had keys to the clubhouse. She nodded. I said we needed to move, wake people, bring them to shelter. So we did. Trudged through the drifts, door to door, knocking, pleading. Folks followed. A strange parade through the storm, blankets. Babies, pets. Clubhouse wasn't warm, but it was safe. The old fireplace still worked. Heaters, supplies, enough to keep us alive. Karen helped. No clipboard, just another set of hands. People noticed. No one cared about HOA rules now, just survival. That night, we opened the door 16 more times. People kept coming. Kids, elders, a woman with 3 dogs, a veteran shaking from the cold. Every time, someone made space. Karen bandaged hands, logged arrivals, coordinated supplies. When an old man had chest pains, she led a team to fetch help at dawn. I watched her and realized she was changing. No speeches, no power, just effort. By the last morning, the blizzard eased. Sun didn't shine, but the air felt different, like the world itself was tired, but ready to forgive. In the clubhouse, Karen stood up, told everyone what she'd done, why she took the wood, how she used her power wrong, that she was resigning, reporting everything to the city, and that I'd help make sure it was done right. People listened. No one cheered, but no one shouted her down. They just nodded, as if to say, "Good, now let's get to work." When the plows finally came, the old HOA was done. Karen handed in her resignation, wrote letters to every resident, told the truth without excuses. City sent an auditor, Arlo Jenkins, who took my video, the bylaws, every citation. Turns out, we weren't alone. Complaints were coming in from all over. The board was forced to restructure, release records, answer for missing funds. And for the first time in years, the rules started to work. For us, not against us. Karen didn't run. She worked side by side with Maria, shoveling driveways, apologizing to folks she'd wronged. One day I found a bundle of wood on my porch, my initials burned. No note. I knew who left it. The audit uncovered violations, missing money, board members resigned or vanished. The city put a mediator in place, set up a hotline. The neighborhood started over. We rewrote the charter, installed term limits, made meetings public, even set up a resilience committee. I was asked to lead it, and for once, I said yes. The last time I saw Karen, she stopped by to thank me for opening the door that night. Everyone deserves a second winter, I told her. And I meant it. Spring came slow, but steady. People planted trees, real ones. Not the ornamental kind. No one asked permission, they just did it. The old order was gone, but what we built in its place, messy, stubborn, hopeful, felt more like home than any code ever could. So now, when I stack my firewood, I don't do it out of fear. I do it because I can, because we all can. Because we learned that survival isn't about who writes the rules. It's about who opens their door when the cold comes knocking. That's how you make it through a Wyoming winter, or any winter, really. Not with rules. With each other. And the next time the snow falls, I know we'll be ready. You know what I mean? 50.